So back at Murrayfield, the teams are out and the officials making their way into their positions. And we're set to go at the start of the second half in this final game of the Autumn Nations Series for Scotland here at Murrayfield. Little look around the Scottish side. Doesn't look like there's any changes from the side that started the first half. The Japanese, I think I see Dylan Riley out there, but confirm that Dylan Riley, yes, Dylan Riley is in, and it means Nakano has gone, the man making his second cap appearance, obviously taking a bang in that first half of the defensive effort, and Dylan Riley is the man who takes over. Face of Michael Leach, he will know better than anyone the next score is just about everything from Japan's perspective if they harbour ambitions of winning in Murrayfield. Stuart Hogg, you're not a player, you're a legend. Read the sign held by the young man in the crowd. Scotland's all-time leading try scorer gets us underway at the start of the second half at BT Murrayfield. 19 points to 6. Japan in desperate need of the next score, and they could do it with being 7. 3 tries from Scotland in that first half. That third try just before the break, a real hammer blow for Japan, who had performed through the mid-third of that first half particularly well, and looked to have Scotland rattled, leading, remember, at 1 point, by 6 points to 5. They need to set about their business, and they have an early penalty. Alan Quinlan alongside
just over the shoulder, just a penalty.
Yeah, it's a penalty again for Japan just right at the start of the second half. I'm always intrigued about what coaches say to teams at half-time. That's just Gilchrist, he's just a little bit high in a tackle.
Did you listen, Alan, when coaches spoke to you at half-time?
Yeah, well, as long as they weren't screaming and shouting, but I think it was just key for both sides. Gregor Townsend wants Scotland to be more precise, use the power more, be patient with the ball, don't force things, and for that man, Jamie Joseph, he'll want them to get in the right areas. They're trying to play, as we know they will do, and that's their biggest strength, but they just got to cut out the mistakes, not kick loosely to Scotland, and keep building, trying to get into multi-phase all the time.
Well, that's a good start from this particular passage of play as Fifita comes onto it at pace, and it's presented for Nagare. And Japan threaten the Scottish 22 as Craig Miller is wrapped up by Jamie Batty, amongst others. Advantage being played to Japan, so they have a free run at it. Into secure possession goes Cornelissen, the second row. It's there now for Nagare, and maybe a little bit of room out wide. It's shifted. Was that forward? We won't stop to find out. We'll continue on as Fifita goes forward once again. Nagare, this is better from Japan. Well inside that Scottish 22, looking for the start to this second half. That their ambitions will, well, before we get any further, let's hear what the referee's going to say, because there is a proper lesson coming, and the lesson, well, it wasn't learned from the first half.
Too slow to roll, repeated.
And the referee is going to send Jamie Batty to the sin bin, and that is as a result of numerous infringements at the breakdown, slowing the ball down as far as the referee's concerned far too often. They were on a warning, and now they get the yellow card.
Yeah, he's trying to wrap in the tackle there, and it's very difficult to get out of there, but it's plain and obvious. Gilchrist is in the same position. There's 2 of them there. Ball coming back too slow. And he did warn him in the first half that there was too many penalties.
And the warning was about the penalties, particularly in the places that they were given away, which was inside Scottish territory when Japan had momentum and a head of steam going. Well, they paid the price now. 15 against 14 from now till the 52nd minute. And an opportunity for Matsuda to cut the gap to 10 points. Struck through, and flags go up, and it is 9 points for Japan. Scotland 19, Japan 9 after 42.5 minutes at Murrayfield. And Jamie Batty's on the bold step.
Yeah, I've often been on that bold step myself, and he just pays the price for those penalties in that first half, and not getting out of there. Japan want quick ball. Scotland want to slow him down. Interestingly, we haven't seen any turnovers or poaches from Watson or Ritchie.
Tackle.
They're very good at that.
Inside.
Yeah, point well made. They got it to Leach. And they got the start of the second half that they would have wanted. The first points, can they build from there? The last time Scotland gave them an easy exit from this situation by giving away a cheap penalty. This time they're going to have to do it themselves without any assistance from the referee. Downfield it goes, and Scotland will gather it through the try scorer in the dying embers of the first half. Darcy Graham was a great finish. The more you look at it, the more he had to do, and didn't he do it well? Hogg full of beans, no doubt about that. He was so thrilled with that historic try in the first half that makes him Scotland's leading points try scorer, I should say, not point scorer. A little bit one-paced on that occasion for Graham. He gets shut down. Substitute Riley was the one to make the tackle. Scotland through Bayliss, now back to their own 10-metre line. Good line speed from the Japanese, and Finn Russell says we'll go over the top and see if that gives us any joy, but it doesn't. It's cut off and comfortably dealt with by Japan, and now a long pass finds a little bit of room, and there are some of the quicker men up against some of the big boys, but didn't George Turner do well, because it was
did brilliantly.
Two backs against two front rowers. Turner needed to be aware, and he did the job really well. On they come, Cornelissen, and now Miller, the big boys for Japan, towards that 22. Was there another arm involved in there? In behind it goes. Matsushima almost held up short, pops it up, and it's taken by Darcy Graham, but we will go by Van der Merwe. We will go back for the penalty. Remember, all this time 15 against 14. Matsushima, oh so close.
Number 4.
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant from Japan. Great offload here. Craig Miller does really well. He's patient, he holds on to the ball, and Scott Cummins is never onside, and you could argue that
another
could
yellow
be
card.
a yellow card as well. Little deft kick in by Matsuda. He's trying to pop it out of the tackle there. Very, very nearly.
So often you see Jamie Joseph with a smile on his face in the coaching box. He clearly enjoys what his team tried to do. Miller was the one who led from the front. And it gives Japan another penalty. And the referee just giving Scotland a little lecture again about giving away penalties in try-scoring positions and saying, I'll go to the yellow card again.
It could have easily been a yellow card. You'd have to argue that was quite cynical from Scott Cummins. He stopped Nagare getting the ball away quick after they made a line break.
So then another attempted goal, another straightforward attempted goal, and a successful one for Matsuda. Badi looks on from the sin bin. It was 12 or 19-6 at half-time. It's now 19-12, 6.5 minutes into this second half. That's exactly what he would have wanted Japan to do. And
yeah, you asked me about mentions, what coaches say at half-time. Just to up the tempo, the intensity, and keep trying to go for it. That's their only option, Japan. It's the way they love to play, and they've started this second half really, really well.
Taken really well by James Moore. And Japan have really owned this second half so far. Control the game. Even from positions like this, they found good exits, put pressure on Scotland, won the ball back, won the penalties. Yes, it's 15 against 14, and that means it's a long way to deal with those sort of kicks for the back two. Just that extra player in those sort of situations, albeit it's a front row in the bin, doesn't matter. There's gaps there that weren't there when the full complement was available. Now Scotland get their hands on the ball. And it's Harris who's been so impressive in defence, who looks to get a bit of forward momentum, but none coming, and then taken by Gilchrist. Up quickly come Japan. Leach gets his arms around the ankles. Jamie Ritchie going backwards. straightens the line. Back to where he came from, knocked forward.
Yeah.
Hand of
First one was
Dylan
by Reed,
Riley.
And then by Blue.
But Japan are, well, you're right, tempo is the word. They've upped that tempo. They're swarming all over Scotland, not
And their
allowing them to
physicality.
settle anywhere.
Their physicality, just the impact tackles they're making are a lot better. I know they're
Scotland
man up
number
here
7,
and they can probably
needs to come
defend a
off.
bit more aggressively when you're in that situation, but Scotland just getting kind of caught in no man's land there around midfield.
Well, of course, Scotland forced into a change now because Batty's in the bin, which means when a scrum comes along in that sin binning, a prop has to be sprung from the bench. That prop is Schumann. Pierre Schumann is in, and the man who's going to be sacrificed is Hamish Watson. Barely a glance in the direction of the sin
He's
bin
not
Batty.
happy, is he? Watson coming off.
In fairness to Batty, it wasn't his indiscretion, it was one that was taken for the team.
Okay. If you don't go in your gap, it's going to be a free kick. And you give him space, well, it's a free kick to you. Here we are.
Very clear message for Fagerson and Miller, who've been at each other all afternoon. Referee's been trying to keep an eye on them, but they're ploughing their own furrow right now.
That's good. Give him space.
Well, Ali Price steps towards this scrum. There was a significant conversation amongst the back line that made them realign. What was the option? Well, it's gone off the scrum. Maybe they'll get it from the free kick, which is taken from the wrong position, so we have to go back again. Sometimes that's a little infuriating.
It is. They want to go quick there, and it's Japan who are just creeping up there, trying to get ahead of the call from the referee. He did warn both sides. What do they do now? Scrum again, or put it up in the air? I think Russell is going to put it up in the air, up and under.
Well, interesting. The coaching staff over on this near touchline are screaming, scrum, scrum. No one heard them. Up in the air it goes. It was a free kick, remember. And, well, the players on the pitch made the decision to do what they did, and they've reaped the reward because they have the ball back as Harris takes it forward. Ali Price off, quick ball now. Gilchrist and Finn Russell, little dink over, but not accurate.
No advantage from the knock-on.
And we'll go back. No advantage
Up
from the
here,
knock-on.
he
That's a
was always going
long
backwards.
advantage.
Now, when he kicks the ball away, advantage should be over there. It's poor from Jimeno. I think he gets in the way here of Fafita. He's going to cross the field trying to catch that. Fafita's coming onto it. He's got to leave that to him. I don't think it was the best kick from Finn Russell there, but they got the reward. He knocked it on. They're in a really good attacking position now.
Alan, that's the sort of decision from the referee that really frustrates supporters, because 9 times out of 10, when the ball is kicked on a knock-on advantage, the advantage is over immediately.
Particularly when you play a couple of phases as well.
Absolutely.
You know, he tries the crossfield kick, overcooks it.
Yeah.
I think it should be a line out to Japan back from where he kicked it.
It is a criticism of the referee, but it's more a consistency issue with all referees. It is either one or the other. It's the ones like that have
Well,
fans.
Jamie Joseph will have an issue if they score from this. Scotland are off this attacking kind of sequence if they end up scoring,
Everyone.
particularly at a point where there's only 7 points in it. They've got those 2 penalties, closed the gap a little bit, Japan.
Such a terrific day of international rugby in this part of the world. Japan and Scotland, of course, later on England and South Africa, Wales take on Australia, France and New Zealand to round off the day, Ireland and Argentina to wrap us all up tomorrow.
9-9.
Little dink from Finn Russell after the pass from Ali Price, and Harris is going to look to profit from what was scrappy from Scotland in terms of accuracy. Schumann gets a rare opportunity to carry in the couple of moments that he's been on. That's another big tackle, but offside against Japan's defence. So a free play for 14-man Scotland. Ali Price.
We've got advantage now.
Price eventually finds its way to Stuart Hogg. Matsushima. And then Darcy Graham. Matsushima just shadowed Hogg out of the way. No advantage coming. And we'll go back for the penalty. And there are some changes coming for Scotland, as well as the reinstatement of the full armoury.
Okay, all right. Here's back 10. We're on offside.
Well, they are going to score.
Number 12, offside.
I'm sure they'll kick it here. It's Nakamura who was offside.
Yep.
So the changes coming for Scotland will see Stuart McInally come in as well. I thought Finn Russell and Scotland might go for the post there. We were looking at the substitutes. The change is coming now. Russell goes to the corner, and it'll be a throw for McInally as he replaces George Turner. Hamish Watson is back in, so is James Batty. As I say that, Batty is not coming back on. Schumann is there permanently, but Scotland are back to 15. McInally taken into the maul. Scotland go. The substitute hooker, his first involvement. Will it be a try-scoring involvement? Yes, it will. What about that from an impact from the bench? McInally, line out, maul, try. He's on the pitch, 20 seconds.
Well, Japan can't do anything about that. It's a great setup from Scotland. Simplicity, ball one in the middle of the line out. They get into a strong position. McInally, as you say, right off the bench. You can see it here. Gilchrist, there's 2 or 3 Japanese players just kind of hanging out. You can't do that. You've got to stop that really, really early. It's so difficult once they get rumbling. Great moment for McInally. It's great power. They just spins around a little bit. Ivalu here can't get in low. He's got to get much lower there. Fafita tries, but great control from the Scottish pack.
Television match official who hasn't really been involved that much, Stuart Berry. Just informs the referee, nothing wrong there. And McInally, 31-year-old, he's confirmed as the try scorer, and now Finn Russell.
We thought Finn Russell would take the penalty, and it was brave going to the corner again, wasn't it, with the kick? But they have scored from what we thought should have been a Japanese line-out, and advantage should have been over.
That one is brought in, and over it goes, and it's 26 points to 12. And after Japan's mini recovery, it's Scotland with the try and conversion who stretch it out once more. Bayliss. Ali Price, you won't be surprised to see Scotland now slow it down, try and take a little bit of the tempo out of this game and just suck the remaining life and hope out of Japan over the next 6 or 7 minutes. Yamanaka can't control it. It's picked up by Ritchie. And now Scotland go to the back line. As soon as I say it, Russell fires it downfield. This one gets a kindly bounce, and it's dealt with just by Nakamura.
Well, they're playing the right areas now, aren't they? Putting all that squeeze and pressure on Japan. It's a great kick from Russell. The passing option was cut out by the Japanese players. The back line, they came up and in, forced him into that kick, and his accuracy was brilliant.
And McInally and the Scottish pack claim possession once again, and burrowing through is Johnson, and it should be there and is there for Ali Price. Down the narrow side, little variation to try and bring Van der Merwe into the game. He's had precious little really, apart from that opening try where he sneaked over from half a metre at the base of a breakdown that no one expected to see him in. Price once more. Hamish Watson. Price again. And that's good defensive work. Knocked forward. An advantage being played to Japan. And they saw a little bit of space, but just couldn't manage to find a way through in a meaningful way, although Fifita does get some yards. Through the hands of Matsuda. And out wide, Himeno.
Okay, advantage is over.
Number 8. Actually scored a try here against the Lions back in June.
Tackle release.
That's a tackle, despite the attempts to lift the player up and create a maul by Jamie Ritchie and Scott Cummings. Penalty again. Scotland at the breakdown.
Stay up.
He's off his feet there. He's got to leave that ball. Schumann, good defence from Scotland, but pictures we see, it's very obvious that he was off his feet and then he tried to get back up, to be fair, but you've got to make a decision there, just leave the ball then.
Matsuda feigned to go towards the touchline, instead keeps the ball in hand, and Himeno, odd decision that with the penalty, and that odd decision is now compounded when Scotland win at the breakdown.
It's a crazy decision. You've got a full penalty, put it down the touchline, launch an attack. It's slow and pedestrian here. Darcy Graham and Xander Fagerson get in a good position. Force that penalty. It's really poor out of Japan there. For the first time, I think, in the game we've seen, they were just a little bit static, lethargic.
Now, well, they dealt with the threat of what we knew George Turner and particularly Hamish Watson, Jamie Ritchie bring to the game at the breakdown. Well, they've dealt with it for an hour, but first sign there that the physical toll of doing as much defending as they've had to do at times, and the wear and tear of the last couple of weeks is beginning to take its toll. As I say that, there are lots of fresh bodies being prepared to come in for Japan. More on that in a minute. McInally at the back of a maul. Schumann is there on his shoulder. McInally once again, advantage being played to Scotland. They can finish this one here and now, you feel. Watson, Ali Price, big men come around the corner once again, but this time Gilchrist is put down. Big tackle from Leach on Hamish Watson. Ball presented for Ali Price again. Finn Russell, they have numbers, but they just can't get the ball to Darcy Graham. And the referee is going to go back for the advantage, which feels like an age ago, but is the right decision for the referee.
Yeah, this time it is the right decision.
Okay.
Taken quickly by Harris. Ritchie on his shoulder. Ali Price. Schumann. Scrum half again. Willing runners from everywhere. Cummings. But they don't manage to execute Scotland. And they turn over from a big Japanese effort in defence.
Just hanging on there, Japan, and manfully defending. Double tackle there. Ball just goes loose from Scott Cummings. It was Leach and Ivalu there, really strong in defence. Just feel this is a really, really crucial part of the period of the game for both sides. Scotland scored a kick on the win by a big score. If Japan can hold out and get up the field and maybe stay in the game, we get an interesting 20 minutes.
All sorts of changes on both sides. Japan have opted to change most of their front row, and also out of the game comes Nakamura. You can see Ritchie is gone, Price gone for Scotland. In comes Fagerson and George Horn. Michael Leach is gone for Japan. That's he with Ritchie. Into the game for Scotland, number 21. There he is, Matt Fagerson. Japan are going to try and run their way out. Look to see where the Scottish back three are, and that's a poorly executed kick because it's right down the throat of the Scottish captain, Stuart Hogg, who has plenty of time to look up and do what he loves to do, drift across that oncoming line and wonder if he can find a little gap to shoot through. Not on that occasion. Again, the handling from Scotland under, it has to be said, some pressure from the Japanese defence hasn't been great.
No, it hasn't, and that's a good kick chase from Japan. It was not the best kick up the middle of the field from the Japanese. They tried to get a little bit of width in it out of their own 22. And Hogg runs across the field, does a little bit of a step, and then Darcy Graham, just as he was being tackled, just a little bit of poor execution there. The ball goes forward.
Darcy Graham's day is done. Blair Kinghorn is being readied to come in his place. And also into the front row for his first cap, having Sebastian from the Scarlets. Where's number 18? That's him on the left-hand side. What a story is Sebastian. Wales under 16 and under 18 international. And his dad was Scottish, and he gets his opportunity at 27 years of age. And to add to it all, he had his first child on Wednesday with his partner. He wasn't there for the birth because he was in Scotland camp. And, well, you become a dad and you make your international debut all in the same week. That's called pretty decent week at the office.
Yeah, a try maybe now to cap it off for him and a win for Scotland, but he's a late developer, but it's a great opportunity for him now and to get to play international rugby and run out here. I'm sure is
it's hard to be racing, that's for sure.
For him.
Wait, 11.
Inside the final quarter now of this game is Japan probe beautifully. Deep down, 5 meters away from the Scottish line, and they will get the throw to the line out, a 50-22.
Yeah, it was a great kick, wasn't it, from Nakamura. Scotland were a little bit lateral in their defence there. They didn't push off the line, give him that opportunity to put that kick in. Great attacking position. They've got to execute now.
They sure do. Sakate. And is it just held on to? It is just held on to, and it's better than that. They're over. Japan score. Tatafu, the substitute, only on the pitch, a matter of moments. And like McInally for Scotland is rewarded with a try.
Well, that's unbelievable, isn't it? What a brilliant kick.
Brilliant kick to set up the line out. And that line out looked lost, but somehow they rescued the situation, and Tatafu peels away, finds a soft Scottish defence.
This is the kick. Superb. Gets right into the corner. They're checking something here anyway.
Well, here's where the check will come, because there'll be a question of whether it was knocked forward. I don't believe that it was. Cornelison was the second row, took the ball. What are they saying?
Stu, I'm referring to your TMO check, please.
But we just need to make sure whether the Japanese player in the line-out has lost the control of the ball, or whether he's kept control of it in the context of the line-out.
Okay, so we're looking for a knock-on in the line-out.
That's correct, yes.
Well, you heard the conversation between Brendan Pickerel and Stuart Berry about checking the control of the ball. Cornelison from Sakate. He pushed it into the chest of Cummings, never really loses control of it.
He kept his hand on the ball. I think this is fine. See, his left hand is still on the ball all the time. That's fine.
So then he jumps for it. He then has the ball with one hand. There is no separation in that process when he has the ball with one hand. And then couriers the ball back onto the blue chest. So there's no separation at all. So we're comfortable if there's no knock-on.
No knock-on for the truck. Confirm no knock-on there, Stu.
Confirm no knock-on. We can stick with your on-field decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
the right
come back to
decision
me.
from the teams,
Thanks for
sometimes
clearing that up.
you
Clearly
feel...
no knock on, hand on the ball the whole time, never go
Well,
forward. I'll stay
it's
on
easy to say when you look back at it. If they need to look at it, they need to look at it to confirm that it was legitimate, which they have done, and Japan have their try. It's 26 points to 17 with the conversion to come.
Out of nothing, really, you know, great kick out of inside their own half, and they've given themselves a lifeline here. The kick is really, really important, obviously, to bring it back to within 7 points.
Well, if this one goes over, it's going to make for a very, very interesting final 15 minutes at Murrayfield as Matsuda looks to cut the gap to 7. Oh dear, oh dear. And sure, he looks at the heavens.
It's all power here, isn't it? And strength from Tatafu. So hard to stop him from there.
Well, how costly that conversion miss as Matsushima tries to get Japan going forward once again, and it's Fifita who carries Japan still in this game. 14 minutes, plenty of time. They may trail by 9, but we've seen in the flash of an eye it can change so quickly.
Wait, Japan, come on.
This one will give Scotland the throw to the line out. Matsuda, he's blown a little hot and cold in this game for Japan.
His kicking technique is poor, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, he's missed a couple of kicks there, and that was a big miss. Never looked like it was anyway going towards the post.
Matsuda, 27 years of age, the man he replaced, Tamura, Yu Tamura. We know just how skillful he is. Is 32 years old, so probably the feeling from Joseph that he's got to give his second choice out half, because he's very much nailed his colours to the mast of Tamura. He's got to give that experience to other players, and if not in tests like this, then when? Horn. Johnson, and then Finn Russell, and up quickly again come Japan, but somehow away comes Van der Merwe. Horn continuing to put in the tackles. Japan look like they might be offside out wide, but the referee and his assistant let it go on this occasion. Still Scotland come on. Now it's Josh Bayliss up towards the Japanese 22. Horn and the new man, Sebastian, sets it up for Horn. Schumann, big ball carrier. Shouts of shoo every time he gets the ball in hand. Harris gets a little bit of his own medicine. Big hit on him, and the ball is turned over, and a kick can go from Riley. And what way is this one going to bounce? Inches away from him. So close for Japan. It was millimeters away from being under the sticks, and a very different game with 12 minutes left on the clock, but Scotland have dodged a bullet. And they might want to do more than that.
Release.
See Saito, the replacement scrum half, readying himself for Japan. Schumann once again.
Advantage over.
Horn. Advantage over, says the referee. And Finn Russell kicks. That's good ground covered and dealt with by Matsushima. No way through for Matsuda there. Out wide, goes for the try scorer, Tatafu. Comes away from the first tackle, and Japan are in behind Scotland here. Scrum half, Nagare. Finn Russell tries to execute the turnover, but not to be. Japan a little slow getting to it, having created the space. Scotland need to keep the wits about them here. Nakamura takes it into contact.
Mate, that's off blue.
Off blue is the call.
Hang on, I don't have anything clear. He hit the arm. I think it's legal. And I didn't have
Referee
enough
not interested in listening to his TMO right now. We'll play on.
Sure, you passes a try.
Still there. Japan building and building. Tamura.
But only if there's a try.
Now Matsuda again, and Scotland, McAnally, no, thought it might have been turned over, but it's not. Japan continue to pound away at the door. 8 phases, they're making ground, they're making Scotland work. They still believe there's something in this, and the crowd, for the first time in a very long time, raised their voice, because NATO, this is a seminal moment in this game. Nagare, it's advantage being played to Japan. And there's none accruing, so we'll go back for the penalty.
Oh, it's nervy, isn't it, for Scotland? The crowd have gone quiet.
12 blue, never back onside.
It was Sam Johnson who was offside there.
Number 12, offside. Yeah. Send him on.
They're just growing in confidence, aren't they, the Japanese? They feel that there's a real opportunity here for them. Game has gone loose, lots of offloads, line breaks.
Saito in for Nagare, and in comes another new man for Scotland, Dylan Richardson. Formerly junior Springbok, Scottish dad, plays for the Sharks, and he makes his Scotland debut. And Hamish Watson
Good support there, guys.
comes out of the game. Big day for Richardson, along with Sebastian. First caps for both those men. And while all that was happening, the decision has been to go for the post for Japan with still, 9 minutes or so left on the clock. They need to score twice, so might as well try and take this one on now. Matsuda, well, he made a forelix of the one from a similar position, the conversion, about 5 or 6 minutes ago. Sam Skinner into the game as well for Scotland. So then, Matsuda to bring it back to just one score and make the final 8 minutes of this one a bit of a cliffhanger. He's done so. Up go the flags. Scotland 26, Japan 20. And it's edge of the seat time for the supporters and the coaches at Murrayfield.
Yeah, he'll sense an opportunity here, and Scotland have become quite disjointed in this second half. They've had a couple of moments of power, and that power game has got them into good positions, but certainly against a team like Japan, you don't want them being in that one-score territory going into the last 10 minutes.
No, they are capable from anywhere. Was that high from Schumann on Fifita? No, says the referee.
Tackle!
And Japan, crucially, hold on to possession through the significant figure of Kazuki Himeno. And now they look to play a little, trying to create, and that's the risk when you try to create where you are. It's turned over. If not now, they have the advantage of the scrum as well. Scotland, can they do anything with it? Taken into contact by the new man, Richardson.
Still
there
playing
for
advantage for the
George
knock-on.
Horn. Still playing advantage for the knock-on, says the referee. Playing advantage for knock-on. A lot longer than most do, as Sebastian is the next to carry. And now Finn Russell tries to weave a little bit of magic. Horn on his shoulder.
Release. Okay, advantage is over now.
Advantage
Clean
now
possession.
over. Scotland go wide. It's there for Bayliss. Has to step back inside. Tackle comes from Vivita. Van der Merwe will play scrum half. Richardson. Horn. Finn Russell. And then Harris. And a bit of a spark maybe now about Scotland as Stuart Hogg looks to blast his way through, but it's good counter-rucking from Japan, really good. And they've turned possession over. 6.5 minutes left on the clock. Japan in need of a try. Matsushima sets Japan on his way, but only after getting hit by a huge tackle by Schumann. Ball is still there, not much room to work with. Japan looking to control it. Saito sets them on their way again. Ball is presented. Needs to be accurate. Forward, forward, forward. Having done all the hard work, it was careless from the substitute
really careless,
Saito.
really careless from Saito. Brilliant from Japan defensively, and that their captain has been absolutely brilliant. Love a shot, mate.
Hey, let's go, Scotland.
Great defence here. Dylan Riley stops him. Nakamura coming in, but watch this counter ruck. Chris Harris turns the ball over. It's brilliant. Let's watch this again. Yeah, it is forward. It's really sloppy. Going down a blind alley there, 4 or 5 Scottish defenders down there. Probably wasn't the best decision, but that was a great opportunity to hold on to the ball and find a mismatch somewhere.
Absolutely, particularly having taken the decision to play out of their 22, turn the ball over, survived Scotland's onslaught, then you win it back and you make great ground, and a simple error means you're back chasing once again.
They just haven't been able to shake the Japanese off, have they, Scotland, in this game? They've looked like the more powerful, dominant side, but you know, they haven't just got rid of them, and that second half resurgence and the way they came out in the start of the second half has given them great confidence and belief, and 1 score in it. You think that man Finn Russell has got to take control now, just win the game. It'd be lovely if they got another score to do that, but they can't afford to be loose now in this last 5 minutes.
Well, Scotland were 20-point favourites coming into this game. As it's control at the back, and referee is going to go again.
Thought he could have given the penalty there now. Scotland seemed to be going forward. I don't think there was that much of a twist on it, but it's eating up the clock a little bit.
Guys, if you want to go forward, you've got to go straight. The scrum just spun there. Okay? Here we are.
Well, the crowds have decided they're going to create their own little bit of atmosphere with the game. Still very much in the balance as they try to get a wave going around the stadium. George Horne feeds the Scottish scrum, and Johnson is used as the man to carry, and Japan, as always, meet them on the gain line and put their bodies very much in the line of fire. It's set for Horne again.
What do you want?
Scrum half. Once more, Harris, he's got through an enormous amount of work as Scotland's outside centre. Schumann on the angle. And Big Shoe was urged on by Scotland. That isn't particularly good, though, and it almost gave an opportunity to Japan to gather possession again. Advantage being played to Scotland. Bayliss tidies it up, and Scotland now with 3 minutes left on the clock and 6 points to their advantage, and advantage in this moment are in control. Schumann, Sebastian off his feet. The referee will come back.
Yeah, it's direct from Scotland, isn't it? And powerful up the middle, good carries.
Number 22, White. Offside.
It's Yu Tamura. Just panicked a little bit, jumped the gun.
They just have to take the kick here, right? It'll put them 9 points in the lead. It's Stuart Hogg. Well, Finn Russell's going, we'll go to the corner, we'll go to the corner.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
It's the correct decision not to go to the corner. Kick your points.
That, dare I say, is why Finn Russell will never be captain ever.
Well,
because he's naturally,
he's a free spirit, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. That's not a criticism, but it does make you giggle. The game is on the line. You can go 9 points clear with 2 minutes left in the clock, and you're thinking, we'll poke it to the corner and have a go.
I'll give you 10 seconds, but you need to speed it up. No, I'll give you the 10 seconds. I'll give you when it's 10 seconds to go, but you need to speed it up.
And now Finn Russell is taking every moment that he can of the time allotted. It'll take it very close to the 80, and you feel this is it right now. Whether it goes over or not, almost, there'll be no time left. Well, for every punch that Scotland have thrown. Japan found a counter-punch right to this final minute of the game. But now surely it's out of reach as the lead is stretched out to 9 points and there are only 50-odd seconds or so left in the game. Scotland 29, Japan 20. So then, time for the Deliveroo man of the match, player of the match. It's Chris Harris, the Scottish outside centre. I'm sure he, along with Bayliss and one or two others, were considered, but Harris is the man that's announced as the Deliveroo man of the match in this final game for Scotland at the All-Nations Series at BT Murrayfield. And right on cue, there he is to carry once more.
That's time. That's time.
That'll do it. That'll do it. Couple of seconds left on our clock, but it had made no difference. Scotland, in the end, do what they need to do. It wasn't overly impressive, but it was good enough against a much improved Japanese side. The final score is victory for Scotland at BT Murrayfield. A happy end to the series for Gregor Townsend. They've won it by 29 points to 20.